Okami is a gorgeous action-adventure game set in Japan that originally released for the PlayStation 2 10 years ago. The story is steeped in Japanese folklore, and the game has a unique paintbrush mechanic that never quite managed to work properly, because there's only so much fluidity and grace you can achieve with an analog stick. But we all loved it nevertheless. Playing as a big white fluffy wolf probably helped soothe our temperaments, although technically we're actually a sun goddess who's out to save the world from the darkness unleashed by a demon. If you like the Legend of Zelda games, this is as close as you're going to get on PC outside of an emulator. And there's even a depraved Navi clone who's one more inappropriate comment away from being slapped with a lawsuit. So if you were looking for a reason to play it again, or even try it out for the first time, you're in luck. We've got 6 of them. Thanks to its cel-shaded art style, Okami was always going to age well. An HD port made it to the PS3 in 2012, and now, a mere 5 years later, it's arrived on PC and current-gen consoles, and it looks fantastic. You can opt for the original 4:3 aspect ratio or widescreen if you're not an animal, and with 4K support, those of you with 4K monitors can crank up the settings and weep, having never known true beauty until now. There's not much to play with in the graphic settings, with just a few preset options to choose from and a capped 30 frames per second, which is a little disappointing. Capcom did experiment with 60 FPS, but working with the legacy code from the PS3 turned out to be too problematic, so we'll just have to lump it. The brush and ink motif of the Sumie-inspired visuals extends to Okami's celestial brush mechanic. A quick swish of the bristles is all it takes to solve puzzles and eliminate obstacles and enemies alike. If you've played Okami before, you may not remember it going quite as smoothly as all that when you were wrestling with the analog stick, trying to create elegant lines and making what would generously be referred to as an unholy mess instead. You'll be pleased to discover then that Okami supports keyboard and mouse as well as controllers, and you can switch between them on the fly. 1 minute you're running around controlling a divine beast with your gamepad of choice, in my case the wireless Logitech F710, and the next you're banging out works of art with the unrivaled precision afforded by a mouse. It's a massive improvement and just what's needed for the mechanic to be properly realised. With a new game comes a new list of achievements to unlock, and that's sure to fill you achievement hunters with joy and a newfound purpose in life. Okami has a total of 51 to tick off. Most of them are spread over story events and will pop up when you learn new brush techniques. But for those of you who have a completionist streak, or masochistic tendencies as my therapist likes to call it, you can challenge yourself to aim for the more elusive ones. Ferreting out the 100 collectibles is a start, and they actually have a use. The stray beads you collect will turn into an artifact that massively buffs your attack power when you reunite them all. And while completing the encyclopedic tomes doesn't make the same kind of tangible difference to your skill set, it goes one better. It nourishes our mangy souls with cutscenes of cute forest critters as we feed them, an act that checks off their entry in the animal tome. Watching a majestic white wolf watch over bunnies and piglets as they nosh on piles of herbs and seeds is enough to cleanse your spirit and make everything right with the world. We all love dogs. Not as much as cats apparently, if general internet fare is anything to go by, but they're up there. Okami's Amaterasu might be a sun goddess, but she's still in the form of a wolf, and wolves do doggy things. Is a particular villager annoying you? Just bark in their face. Still not appropriately obnoxious enough? Go full whack and give them a bite. Maybe dig up their garden, or run off with their chickens so they'll have to live on turnips, until you steal those as well. Having everyone think you're a plain old white wolf gives you carte blanche to hang around the village causing mischief. And it gets even better with Amaterasu's dirty bombs and water-based attacks. I say water, golden showers from the sun goddess is what it is. Although Okami didn't perform well commercially when it first released, it's been heralded as one of the best Zelda titles to date, which is impressive considering it's a Capcom game with nary an effeminate elf man-child in sight. and it's deceptively big with dozens of side quests and collectibles to snaffle out. A no-nonsense playthrough focused on the story will take you over 30 hours, with a more leisurely pace taking in everything there is to see in the watercolour world, almost doubling that estimate. Capcom could have popped a $40 price tag on the game and watched the yen roll in, but you can pick it up for just $20. $20 for a critically acclaimed, huge non-Zelda Zelda game on PC. What are you waiting for? It's plain to see that the world of Okami is simply magnificent to look at. The NPCs are as colourful as the realm they inhabit, with quirks and idiosyncrasies that will either endear them to you or make you delight in terrorising them. The animals are just as delightful, and you'll want to feed them not just to gather entries in your tome, but because watching Amaterasu take a moment to feed a flock of birds or a fellow canine is too adorable for words. Even the enemies are likeable, from the character design to their battle taunts. And don't get me started on that big sleepy bear. You'll be compelled to help the NPCs, suckered into keeping the wildlife fed, and drawn into combat just to see more of them. Okami might be a decade old, but it feels far from dated. The core gameplay is simple and free from fuss, and coupled with its painted landscapes, now in glorious 4K, you'd be hard-pressed to dismiss its resurgence as a novelty of nostalgia. Let us know if you played Okami when it originally released in the comments, and whether you'll be getting it again too. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Logitech G for more weekly content. Thanks for watching.